What is happening, Raider Mamas? And welcome to re-engaging through our core day. So before we dive into this, always a big reminder that if anything starts to feel uncomfortable or we have pressure down on our pelvic floor or against the cesarean scar, we want to pull back. We want to make sure we're cleared to move our bodies. We want to be listening to our bodies our whole time so we don't feel pain or discomfort. We're working with our bodies, not against ourselves, especially with core work. My goal for you here is not to get shredded right away. I want us to really go inside and focus on reconnecting with our pelvic floor, reconnecting with all areas of our abdomen, that abdominal wall, just starting to get that sense of breath, connection, and strength so that as we move into other movements, we're staying secure and safe through our core, which, my friends, is pretty much everything except for our limbs. So it's a huge part of our body, super functional, super important to our movement health and stability. All right, so just one last little bit and then we'll dive into the fun part. It will move in stages, so I will let you know as we progress to movements that may be unsafe for earlier on in your postnatal journey. So again, if any part of your body starts to feel discomfort, let what you did at the beginning be enough. It is already so much working on turning on your core. So listen to your body, follow along to what it needs, and know that the rest of the journey is here for you. We're just going to take it safely one step at a time. So come on down. The first thing we always do when we are working with the core is connecting to that pelvic floor with a little bit of breath work. So just finding a nice, gentle shavasana on the ground, getting comfortable, letting your breath just start to be easy, maybe bringing one or both hands to that space below the belly button. And we're going to be focusing on both engaging and relaxing our pelvic floor. So on our inhales, we're going to feel the belly rise and fill our hands, and we're going to focus on relaxing through the pelvic floor. So big inhale, holding at the top, relaxed position. And then on our exhale, draw the belly down into the spine, engaging through the pelvic floor like you're picking up a pea with the vagina. Little hold here. Inhale, fill the belly, relaxing through the pelvic floor, holding at the top. And exhale, drawing the belly button down to the spine, engaging through that pelvic floor, holding at the bottom. Inhale, fill the belly with air, relax, close your eyes, feel that relaxation through the pelvic floor. Inhale, imagine, really visualize that engagement through the pelvic floor, creating that visual mind-body connection. Inhale, relax, visualizing that relaxation, feeling that relaxation. Exhale, belly button draws down, pelvic floor engages. One more big inhale, all the way to fully relaxed, holding at the top, and then exhale, belly button draws down, pelvic floor engages, little pause, and let that body and breathing return to normal. Beautiful. Start to walk your feet up towards your hips, and we're just going to work on pelvic scoops. So the goal here is start to engage through that low abdomen, that part that starts to get a little stretched as we get pregnant. So we're going to just drop the hips. Think of the hips rolling away, lifting off the ground with that low back. And then on the exhale, belly button draws down, top of the hips, bottom of the ribs pulled together, little hold. Inhale, pelvis rolls away. You can keep your fingers on your hips if that feels good and guiding. And then exhale, pull those hips up to the bottom of the ribs. Again, inhale, pelvis rolls away. Exhale, pelvis rolls towards the bottom of the ribs, lower back flattening against the floor. One more in this more exaggerated position. Inhale, and then exhale, roll it in, hips to bottom of the ribs. Now, we're going to keep doing this, but we're going to add a little hold, and we're going to take out the intensity of that hip roll. So we're going to just let our hips release, not actually think of rolling all the way. And then exhale, hips and bottom of the ribs pull together, little hold as that middle abdomen pulls to the floor, just starting to build that connection of that low core. Pelvic floor is engaged. Inhale, little release. Exhale, scoop the tailbone, bottom of the ribs, top of the hips. This is really important for so many of us because we oftentimes stand with a swing in the back of our hips, so our hips sort of pop out, our booty pops. Inhale, release. Exhale. So as we start to engage more and more, no matter what stage of womanhood we are in, through that low core, it helps to minimize back pain. It makes us more effective and efficient movers. Inhale, release. Exhale, press that low back down, and really starts to turn on in a very functional way that keeps us safe through all of our movement. Big breath in here. Maintaining that pelvic tilt, we're just going to extend our right leg out, hovering it above the floor, and bring it back in. Extend that right leg out and bring it back in. Trying to keep the tops of the hips lifting towards the bottom of the ribs towards the top of the hips, making sure the low back is flush with the floor, really engaging through that low abdomen. If we're starting to extend and that low back is elevating at all, just don't go quite as far. So maybe stop it right here for today and bring it back in. We want to be able to control this by keeping our core engaged and our low back sealed to the floor. If you want a little bit more, if you've done this before, you can go ahead and hover it the whole time, little leg extension. Let's go one more on this right side. Beautiful. Let's take a second, shake out the hips, little rock side to side, and then start by setting up that scoop. So bottom of the ribs, top of the hips pulled together, belly button draws into the spine, extend and draw it back. Noticing if there's any movement in any other part of the hips or spine. So if as you extend, maybe you rock over to one side, just starting to take notice so that we can bring that core back online by maybe engaging. If we roll over to the left as we extend our left leg, one thing we could try is maybe squeezing the glute. We could really close our eyes and visualize pressing the right hip down onto the floor, anchoring. Again, you can always hover the leg if you want a little bit more intensity. And if it's too intense, you can take it just halfway and bring it in. Beautiful. One more on this side. Nicely done. Let's bring those legs up to tabletop. This today might be perfect. We want to pull that low belly button down into the spine like we're pulling on a tight pair of pants. Back is flush with the floor. This would be perfectly wonderful to stay here. If you'd like a little bit more, palms are going to come on the inside of the, or tops of the thighs. We're going to press thighs into hands, hands into thighs. We're going to imagine scooping that pelvis up towards our chin. So again, really thinking of bottom of the ribs, top of the hips, like I'm trying to tap my pelvis against my chin. It feels like maybe I'm pulling on a tight pair of pants. Starting to turn on that engagement, breathing. At any point, feel free to release this. We want those arms super long. We want the thighs pressing against the hands against the thighs. So if I move either one, they shoot in one direction or another. Here's 3, 2, little lower, beautiful. Maybe a little rinse here. Maybe take the feet a little wider, little windmill, gentle. We're going to do that one more time in our dead bug. Coming on up, scooping that tailbone up, belly button draws into the floor, hands on the thighs, thighs in the hands, press the thighs into the hands into the thighs, making sure we're not rolling, so we don't want our low back to come off the floor at all. We're pressing the thighs and hands together, pulling the belly button down. Our low back is flush with the ground so that we're staying in the front of that abdomen. Really beautiful work here. 3, 2, bring those knees in if that feels okay. Give yourself a little hug. So nice. All right, team, we are moving into a bird dog. This might be one where it's a great time to stop. So if this is your first time through this video, what a wonderful place. You've just worked your core for 7 minutes. Amazing. If you're feeling like you've got a little bit more, find your way into tabletop. So we're going to take the shoulders over the hands. We're going to spread the hands out and we're going to grip through the floor, making sure our knees are underneath our hip. And I want you to think of that scoop we did on the floor. So instead of letting the hips roll back towards the sky, really scoop bottom of the hips towards the top, or excuse me, bottom of the ribs towards the top of the hips. We're going to hold here for a moment. So really pull the belly button up into the spine. Spine is engaged through the ribs, pulling away from the floor. My arms are engaged, pulling that belly button in nice and tight, feeling that pelvic floor engage in this new direction here. One more nice deep breath like this, feeling that engagement, maybe closing the eyes and visualizing that engagement. And then slowly start to extend your left leg back. As you extend, we want to keep that scoop in the front of the body. So try not to drop the low belly towards the floor, but rather pick it up towards the sky. If this is too much, keep the toes on the floor today. That's amazing. We also want to make sure we're not shifting all the way over to our right side. So really think of grounding through the left arm, squeezing through the left glute, big breath in, Exhale, drop that knee. Find that scoop. If you feel any tenderness in your low back, let's keep the foot on the ground for this next round. We're going to take that right leg back, either in the air or in the ground, making sure the right hip is wrapping towards the floor, thinking pulling on that tight pair of pants. Arms are super long. If you need to, you can bring it down to the forearms. But again, really think of squeezing so we're not in that low back. Big breath in. Exhale, bring it down. Beautiful. Next, we're going to go left arm. So engage through that right arm. Nice, strong and long right arm as the left arm stretches up. If this feels like too much today, you can work on just hovering the left hand off the floor. Beautiful. And remember, skip something that isn't working for you today. Set that arm down. Re-engage. Belly button pulls up. Spine pulls up. Grabbing the floor with the hands. Big stretch with our right arm. Keep breathing, mama. You got this. And set it down. You are more than welcome to stay with alternating leg, leg, arm, arm. If you'd like to explore leg and arm at the same time, by all means. But again, this is your journey. Listen to your body. Scoop the tailbone, stretch right hand, left leg. Belly button pulls in nice and tall, shoulders down the back. My eyes are at the top of my mat, so I have a nice neutral spine. Set it down. Gorgeous. Scoop that tailbone. Really reset. Remember, we want to make sure that as we extend, we're on the other side now, that we're not letting that low back compress at all. We're really scooping the tailbone forward. Squeeze the butt. Bring it down. Beautiful. Big stretch out. Keep breathing. Think of squeezing that left hip down towards the floor. Belly button drawing up towards the spine. And bring it down. If you're feeling unstable, that is A-okay. That is why we're doing this. Again, you can keep the foot down. You can hover the hand. There's lots of opportunities to build on this. Bring it down. We're going to go again. Big stretch. And again, I'll say this forever and ever, but fitness, no matter where you're at, no matter what your body's gone through, let's switch, is a journey. Our continuum looks different depending on our experience. That can be our experience leading up to the birth. That can be our birth experience. That can just be our experience in our day-to-day life. If we have a pretty stressful day, exercise is about to feel a lot harder than if we got through it smooth sailing. So just be open to you meeting yourself where you are at today. Beautiful, team. Setting it back down. Nicely done. We're going to bring it back to the floor. So good. Going for our glute bridges. So make sure right away that we can feel the heels with our hands. From here, engage that scoop. So think bottom of the ribs, top of the hips. Squeeze the tushy and then start to lift the hips. Inhale, we're going to lower. Exhale, we're going to lift. And as we lift, I want you to think of the heels pulling back energetically. I want you to imagine, or if you have a yoga block between your legs, so inner thighs continue to stay activated. As you get to the top of the bridge, we're only going high enough that we stay super engaged in our butt and our hamstrings, and we're not in our low back. If you start to feel it in your low back, oftentimes what happens is we disengage through the low core and we hyperextend. So keep thinking of that tip forward of the pelvis, that pulling on of the tight pants. Beautiful. We have two more, and then we're going to add a little hold. Again, if a little hold doesn't work for you today, continue with your lift and lower. Holding at the top, heels drawing back energetically. My feet are straight forward. I'm squeezing my glutes. I'm imagining pulling on that tight pair of pants. The top of my hips are rolling up towards the bottom of my ribs, and I'm breathing. Softening through the face and shoulders for 3, 2, and lower it down. Give yourself a hug. Beautiful. Our last little bit together is going to be an assisted side plank. This is not something I would do if you are newly back. Let this be the end of your video because that was 12 minutes of abs and that's incredible. If you'd like to try this, by all means, but remember, listen to your body. So to set up an assisted side plank, we're going to set that shoulder up on top of our elbow, and then we're going to take our bottom leg. So I'm on my right elbow. My right leg is going to be bent at 90 degrees. My left leg is going to be on top. From here, I can either stay here and really practice elevating through my rib cage, or I can lift my hips. As I lift my hips, I want to make sure that my shoulders stay stacked on top of my elbow. I want to think of my hips stacking on top one of another and my shoulder on top of shoulder. From here, we breathe. Squeezing through the glutes, bringing that rib cage in. Again, imagining bottom of the ribs, top of the hips. Again, if you need to, you can lower the hips and practice elevating here. So you're working those intercostal muscles, the ends or the muscles between the ribs. One more nice deep inhale. Exhale, lower the hips. Beautiful. Let's take other side. Setting it up with our shoulder on top of our elbow, bending our left knee, extending our right leg, lifting up through the hips, making sure we're stacked shoulder on top of elbow, squeezing the glutes. And again, if there's ever any discomfort, please disengage. There is a lifetime of getting back into it. So listen to what your body needs. Keep squeezing the glutes, feeling the rib cage. If you start to feel it in your low back, please lower it down. We really want this to be in the side body. We can always do it from the hip. This is still an excellent way to engage those intercostals. Here's 3, 2, and lower it down. Beautiful. Let's just do a quick little rinse of our spine. Amazing job. Bring the knees in and reach for either the thighs or the feet. Find a little happy baby if that feels okay. If it doesn't, holding on to the knees, giving yourself a little rock. So good today. Lowering the legs, gentle twist over to the right if that feels okay. Remembering when we are working on rebuilding the core, the goal is just that, becoming more connected to our core musculature. And it's going to take time. Your body just went through something extraordinary. And it's going to take a little bit more time to get back online with that mind-body connection. Let's go other side. But I promise you that slow and steady foundation building is not only going to make you so much stronger and more effective as you get in further along in your fitness journey, it's also going to put you at a huge advantage because you have this unique circumstance of being able to build your body from the ground up, which all of my mama clients are always my strongest, most effective movers. So I'm very excited for you in this journey. Thank you for listening to your body. Bring it center. Give yourself that hug, for going slow, and for trusting that you are amazing and doing all the right things. Mamas, until next time. Aroo!